What is up, guys? It's Mil here, and today I have a replay for you from the OLT. I will pick some very interesting matches and then just comment them because I want to watch them anyway, and why not share it with you while I watch it. So let's make some set predictions and also analyze the players a little bit. MDragon, which is this guy, he is a moderator on Smogon, and also he won a couple of tournaments, I think, Smogon Tour. So, and NJNP is someone who gained popularity recently, and he's probably of course offensive teams with Hooper. So that is for the players, two very experienced ones, which would be a very nice battle. And looking at NJNP's team, this looks a little bit like Charizard X Sand offense because he has an Excadrill and a T-Tar. Also, he has two wall breakers to break things which annoy Sand, and Charizard X, which is Manaphy and Superior. And you might remember my team, which is almost like this team, but has Azumarill over Manaphy and has Thundurus over Garchomp. And I had a Charizard X. So looking at the lead matchup, he has a Sableye. He leads with Sableye. This is almost, you do almost always the same with these bulky teams because his leads are, because on paper it looks like this is a Charizard X team, standard offense Charizard X team, and he might lead with T-Tar or with Garchomp, going for the rocks first turn because he wants to weaken the Talonflame. Once rocks are up, Talonflame has, you cannot switch into Talonflame if rocks are up. So looking at MDragon's team, it's pretty defensive. It almost looks like Telly's Hazard Control team with Ferrothorn over Chestnut and Excadrill over Hippowdon and also Slowbro over Starmie. But all in all, it's a very defensive oriented team with a spinner and with switch-ins to almost everything in the tier. And the two do a very, this Excadrill is also a fairy switch in as well as the Talonflame, but I think this team is still a little bit weak to Gardevoir because it has to attack. It can predict the Excadrill or the Talonflame. If rocks are up, Talonflame dies to Psyshock. If Excadrill gets hit by Focus Blast, it's over too. So if Excadrill gets weakened, the team has actually huge problems with Gardevoir coming in. But we'll see. If you don't give Gardevoir any free turns, which is hard, but can manage it, then you can actually not lose to it. Okay, two very predictable leads. Sableye, he reveals the Charizard Y, which makes me actually think immediately that this Manaphy is Rain Dance, Tail Glow, Scald, and Energy Ball, because otherwise he would lose to Chansey. And also his Excadrill has to be some kind of setup Pokemon, because Stall is an issue with Charizard. What's it called? Chansey switches in, goes for T-Wave or spreads status, or even goes for Stealth Rock. So let's just click for play. Sableye goes for the Fake Out. Charizard goes for the Fire Blast. That damage reveals that he's modest and just modest. He goes for the Ancient Power now and spams this attack a little bit. In my opinion, he should have damaged the Talonflame a little more earlier, or should have predicted it in the first place, because his only switch into Charizard really is this Talonflame. Otherwise, if he switches something else in, it gets 2-hit KO. So I think he should have predicted the Talonflame in the first turn. So he switches into T-Tar. A switch into T-Tar is Chestnut. He doubles into Charizard, predicts the Talonflame, which is the only switch into Charizard. But as you see now, the Talonflame, although it gets hit by super effective attacks, still tanks the Ancient Power, because the beauty of Talonflame is you switch it in, and then you can roost immediately, which makes you can even switch in if you're at 60%, for example, and an attack does 50%. You can still roost it up, which is a very nice, utility. So he went for Focus Blast one turn, which I didn't understand at all. I thought for it a little while, and the only switching was Excadrill, but there was no way that you're going to switch an Excadrill on Charizard, so I didn't really understand that play. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he thought too much, over-predicted, or maybe he just wanted to to save some PP. So he goes for the Ancient Power all the time. At some point he has to go Manaphy or T-Tar because he has limited PP. And now he goes for Tailglow. This Clefable has to be unaware, otherwise it just loses to Manaphy. But this Manaphy turns out to be Rain Dance, and Rain Dance can actually beat Clefables, because if you get a burn, then you almost 2-hit KO Clefables, or if you get a crit like this. So he gets off the Wish here, and he can switch into Charizard again. Spam Fire Blast. This Fire Blast is a roll at this point, but he wastes another Fire Blast PP. I think that was already 3, I guess. This is the 4th Fire Blast if I remember correctly. And he crits the Talonflame, but that is not a problem for Talonflame because it can roost the damage up immediately with Roost. So Ancient Power, it is actually ridiculous that Ancient Power doesn't kill a Talonflame 4 times attack. Talonflame is actually ridiculous and really good against such teams. So he spams the Stone Edge, maybe predicting the Talonflame, but he has to damage this Chestnut somehow. Maybe force it to switch, but I think that was a really aggressive play. But Slowbro goes for the Toxic on the Charizard. You might ask why, because you might ask why Toxic the Charizard, why? No, because Charizard Y is really a huge threat to his team. He cannot switch into it at this moment because Talonflame is weakened. If NJ goes for Ancient Power, Talonflame is dead. And if Talonflame is dead, his team is dead. He has nothing for it. So he goes into Charizard, just doubles into Charizard, expecting something else. But as you see, the Fire Blast hits ridiculously hard. And yeah, if he predicts the Talonflame here, or at some point, it's actually over. The only thing he has to do then is weaken or break the Clefable, and then he just 6 off his team. So he went for Ice Beam here, pretty much not expected, and freezes the Superior, but I don't think Superior did so much work. But still, it's nice on the team. It gets walled by Talonflame though, and it sets up on it. So a little exchange here. Manaphy beats the Excadrill. Clefable switches in, and as I said, it is unaware. So Manaphy has to switch out. Excadrill is there to handle Clefable. And he's actually free to go into Charizard again, expecting the Chestnut, because Chestnut is Excadrill counter, and he actually passed the Wish to him, which is very nice. So Charizard goes for another Fire Blast, switching in the Sableye immediately, and now Talonflame is gone. And at this point, if NJ manages to break the Clefable, it's actually over, because he has nothing for Clefable. Nothing, really nothing. He has nothing for Charizard X, Charizard Y at this point. Looks like MDragon didn't prepare for a Charizard Y with Ancient Power. So you can prepare for everything, but it's a really nice lure. And after seeing it like this, I might play it too, but I don't think it is very nice on the ladder. So the only thing NJNP tries to do here is break the Clefable actually. It is the only thing he has, or he has to bring it down to 60% and then force it out so that Charizard can 2-hit KO it. Otherwise, it just protects and even stalls out the Fire Blast from the Charizard. And actually it is ridiculous, because when a Clefable can tank a modest Fire Blast from a modest Charizard in the sun, that is not human. No, that's really respectable if you can do that. So he goes into Slowbro, back into Clefable on the Solar Beam, and still, if he goes for Protect here, the Fire Blast doesn't kill. He actually wastes another PP, so I think he might just have 3 or 2 left. But he doesn't get the roll nor the crit, but he keeps Clefable low, and now he can force it out with Excadrill again. And he basically has to switch Chestnut or Slowbro. Goes into Chestnut, and now he can double into Charizard back. And he's just hunting the Clefable or the Chestnut. You know, if he beats Chestnut, Slowbro can still switch into Excadrill. If he beats Slowbro, he can still switch in Chestnut. So he either has to break Clefable to win with Charizard, or has to break Slowbro and Chestnut to win with Charizard. Otherwise, the Clefable just walls everything. And as you see, Clefable is one of the best Pokemon on OU. It's not for some random reason. It is so good because it takes such ridiculously hard hits. It takes hits from Manaphy, it takes hits from Superior, which are very dangerous setup sweepers. It takes hits from Charizard, which is one of the strongest wall breakers in OU. So as I said, what NJP has to do is break the Slowbro, break the Chestnut to gain access to the Clefable. And it looks like now Charizard has there's no switch in left for Charizard, and Slowbro goes down slowly. The next thing that has to be broken is Chestnut. Nice prediction there, but Fire Blast was still his best play. Yeah, and at this point it is almost over, but he still has to chase the Clefable. So good play on MDragon's part, keeping it healthy like that. Yeah, the Superior has to go for Leaf Storm here, but still Clefable walls it, gets a crit, and I think it still was. It goes for Protect. But he reveals the taunt on the Superior, and now it is officially over, because a taunted Clefable cannot do anything to Superior, because it cannot go for Protect, it cannot go for Wish, so it has to take the hits. And now it's over because Charizard just beats everything. So as you see, if you do smart doubles on the Charizard, with the Charizard you have to play it aggressively, otherwise you lose. You have to double into it, you have to keep up the momentum with offense, otherwise you cannot win against defensive teams like that. And you have to actually chase some Pokemon. So you have to weaken Pokemon which are switch-ins for Clefable, so that they cannot protect Clefable anymore. And as you see earlier, he went into Garchomp, which was the right play, because if Slowbro lives the Solar Beam, because it was at full, if it lives at 90%, then he might actually still... No, there's no way he's going to lose. But Manaphy is still low, so if there's a Call Mind Warp, Psyshock might be able to pick it off. I don't know. But going to Garchomp, toxing it, then going into Tita, crunching it is the better play anyway, and this is a good game.